Okay, and welcome back once again to Star Citizen, and hopefully, fingers crossed, this time the streaming setup is going to work. So again, apologies for my regular streamers, viewers, an impromptu stream because of a spare time and technical tests and all sorts of other bits and pieces. But I did want to record this partly for Twitch and partly for YouTube, to give my first impressions of Star Citizen now that I've been playing it for a little while. And thanks folks for turning up. I do appreciate the the impromptu-ness of things. So Dr. Quest MD, Ruben the Streamer, Daximus CMV, Havabubu and Lucky Luigi are already here. Thank you very much for turning up, guys. So I'm here inside the game, and I've been tweaking the game, and I've been tweaking my OBS setup to see if I can make it work a bit more reliably than it was earlier on. And fingers crossed, I think I might have nailed it. Now I still haven't got my RAM upgrade because I'm still waiting on that. But I think okay so far. So no, Sad Universe, no RAM upgrade yet. But I have tweaked. Basically, I think the big thing was the encoder setting. So I think I had too much encoding going on the GPU in terms of the stream, and not enough on the CPU. So I've sort of evened it out a little bit, and fingers crossed it'll work. So we'll see how it goes. Okay, but this stream is basically about impressions of Star System, and for those of you who don't know me, long time Elite Dangerous player, 9 years, 9 long years, and that's a very good game, but. That's different now. This is Star Citizen. This is a different kettle of fish entirely, and really kind of trying to explain what I'm seeing as what Star Citizen actually means, and so fingers crossed. I think I've nailed some of the performance problems. I might change my mind on the Cutlass Black after the review of the Cutlass Steel. Yes, I've heard about this. I haven't looked it up yet. I'm a bit nervous of looking it up. So there we go. But anyway, let's start. I don't even know where I am actually. I'm in a space station somewhere. And let me just check. I have in fact got a helmet on. Yes, I have. Okay, so I'm good there. Otherwise, I'll walk out through that force field and I will die a horrible death, which won't make for a very interesting stream. Right, so here we go. So there's my ship. Now here's the first thing. Okay, so there are not just pads, and they're not just hangars. There are pads. Some of these are totally exposed to the atmosphere. So okay, you walk out here without a hat on or a helmet on. Hat's not going to help you at all, actually. If you walk out here without a helmet on, you just asphyxiate and die. The game doesn't stop you walking through the airlock, which I think is actually really rather good. Because I mean, what an idiot! He walked out through the force field without the helmet on. What a nutter! No wonder he died straight away. So the game doesn't stop you doing stupid stuff. I can jump off the edge of this platform if I so desire. I wouldn't do that because that would be insane, but you can do that, and you can actually, if you get away from these pads, you can EVA around in space. You've got 6 degrees of freedom as an individual. So here I am on a space station, on pad 1, looking at my ship. There's my ship parked over there, and there is. I'm not sure where I am. Let me have a quick look at the map. I'm actually here. I am here. I'm in orbit around the planet Hurston, so it would seem. So, which is a sort of slave planet, I think, from what I've read in the lore so far. So, anyway, tell me if the stream is working okay. It's not going to be perfect because A, my internet isn't great, and B, my PC is still not quite up to spec for what I'm trying to get it to do here, but I have tweaked and optimized things as best as possible to try and get a decent frame rate when I'm streaming. So literally I can walk to the edge of the pad, and I think I can even jump up. There we go. Yeah, or maybe not. Oh, yes, I can. There we go. Look, I'm literally standing on the edge of the space station, looking at. It's actually there's a slight bit of vertigo there actually. I don't. Just in case it glitches, I don't want to fall off this. But look, I am standing on the edge of the pad looking down at the planet. That is a jump, says Chadlow. So, no, don't tempt me. So, that's quite a spectacle. So that's very interesting as well. There's also, one of the other things I've noticed is there's also a... there's some photography stuff going on here with the stars. So as I pan towards the planet, which is much, much brighter, the stars disappear as the exposure of the game adjusts. So the rendering here is that's quite a cool thing. It's got that sort of high dynamic range thing going on. You can EV out. Yes, oh, so I can EV out and back. Okay, I've tried that in the spaceship. Okay, let's just. Okay, well, I'm going to trust you guys because you might be leading me totally wrong. But hey, right. Okay, I'm going to run off the edge. Here we go. I've fallen down. Where am I now? I've fallen into something. Can I get back out of that? So I thought it might glitch. Oh no. I'm inside. Why am I inside? Okay, so there we are. There are bugs. All right. I'm not sure I can get out of wherever I am now. What am I in? I feel like I'm stuck inside. I feel like I've fallen down inside. In 100 attempts, that's never. I glitched into the pad. Yeah. So can I get out of the pad? Or have I knocked myself out? I don't know what I've done. I don't think I can move. Press F4. I'm sort of. Am I unconscious? Looks like I might be unconscious. My head moves, but I'm not responding to any commands. You have to backspace to the medical cell. I don't know. How do I do that? Probably long press Z. I think it knocked me out. No, that doesn't seem. I'd relog at this point. Okay, let's try that then. So much for following instructions in the chat. Okay, so right, so relog. Okay, let me relog. So there are some bugs. It has to be said. That's one thing that Star Citizen is in alpha right now. So you kind of expect that, and that's okay. I'm completely happy with it. If you hold backspace, you will force regenerate. Okay. So let's just jump back into the game and see what happens there. Hopefully my ship will it still remember where my ship is? Everest Harbour is where I was. All those things which work, you just got super unlucky. Okay, so there was quite a lot of detail at the edge of that pad, which was quite interesting. So so maybe I just fell down a gap in between. If there are bugs, I will generally find them, but that's okay. Okay, this isn't alpha. It's been, it's technically not even been sold as a game yet. You have to pledge in order to get access to it, which is okay. I wasn't planning on commenting about the funding model of Star Citizen. I just wanted to give impressions. So there are bugs. Okay, there are bugs, as you've seen. It is possible to fall down gaps between the various bits and pieces. But the spectacle. Just standing there. It's a bit of a trial and error on how far you can push things. Yeah, that does seem to be a case. Let's hope I don't respawn in the same place. Let's see what it does actually. I hope I don't have to summon my ship back and all that kind of stuff. We'll see what happens. But I'm glad the stream is working. That's I've ticked off a technical thing there. Let's have a look at that. Just wait for it to load. This is, I'd say, thanks to all the Star Citizen community for jumping in with technical tips on various different pieces. There's lots of little tweaks that make a big difference to this game. As I say, I haven't got the RAM yet. I need to go and get that. Right. Oh, I'm back in. Looks like I respawned back in my hab. Okay. Well, we'll walk back to the ship because we can talk about this piece as well. So when you start in Star Citizen, you spawn at the moment, unless you've saved your game in a ship, which I will show you later on. You always spawn in a hab, which seems to be a sort of temporary location. You can walk out of it. Well, once it's closed, you can't go back in. So it's kind of, at the moment, it's kind of like a spawn point. So that's quite good. That's just the way it works. Now the other thing, which I still think is quite amusing, because I'm playing Wing Commander 3 at the moment on my retro stream on Saturday mornings, is that there are a lot of lifts. Right, there are a lot of lifts. You will spend a lot of your time going in and out of lifts. I think that's a Chris Roberts thing, actually. Because there are a lot of lifts in Wing Commander 3 as well. You spend an awful lot of your time going up and down the ship in the lift, and so lifts are okay. Nothing wrong with lifts, but there are a lot of lifts, right? Now the first things to say, despite and I've done a fair bit of tweaking, to be fair. I've done a fair bit of tweaking to make this work well, but I am now getting on my PC, which is not state of the art. Okay, it is an i7-8770. I have a GTX 1070 graphics card. This is installed on an SSD, and I've only got 16 gigabytes of RAM at the moment. I've got an upgrade coming. I have made tweaks to various different settings, but it is very, very playable. Okay, none of that. I mean, the frame rate isn't, kind of release quality yet. It's and there's another bug you can see. Is that a player or is that an NPC? Sometimes it's difficult to tell in this game. But the FPS isn't super fast. I'll give it that. But what it doesn't have, crucially, okay, and this is a big comparison. Look, my ship is still there. That's good. The big comparison to Elite Dangerous Odyssey is there aren't any of those janky slowdowns, which really irritate me. Different people will have different tolerances for different things, but for me that was just awful. Okay, and I couldn't really. It was so off-putting. I couldn't stand it. No, that's definitely an NPC. So whoever that is, hello. Not an NPC, a person. I've been playing it only a few weeks now. I've not experienced any of those, any sense that the FPS is not good. Okay, it's not as high as I would like it, but my PC isn't state of the art. So that's fine. But what I am getting is perfectly acceptable and crucially stable performance. All right, I'm not. If I go into graphically complicated areas, it drops down a bit. Fair enough. If I go into more sparse environments, it goes up a bit. Fair enough. That kind of makes a lot of logical sense to me. What I'm not experiencing is sudden weird FPS drops down to like 1 or 2 frames per second. It's much more stable. It's clearly pushing my PC quite hard, which is fine, but it's not janky. It's not janky, which is crucially important. So my general perception, because everyone was telling me, if you can't run Elite Dangerous Odyssey, you've got no chance with Star Citizen. Well, that just simply isn't true. I'm sorry. You're not. I know this is a single use case. Okay, this is my machine, and I tried everything with Elite Dangerous Odyssey to make it work. Rebuilding graphics config, deleting files, optimizing this, changing things on that, changing resolutions, blah blah blah. Nothing worked. Okay, nothing worked. Whereas this, with a few tweaks by the community. NVIDIA cache was the biggest one, actually. Switching that to 10 gigabytes, making sure it was on SSD, etc., etc., etc. It's fine. It really is genuinely fine. It works. Right, I'm not going to jump off this time. I'm going to go to my ship. So that's my first observation. Do not be scared of at least trying it. Now, I'd certainly recommend the free fly event. To install the game and see if it works on your machine, because if it works reasonably well on the free fly event, then it's viable. If it doesn't, then you maybe wait until you've got a slightly better PC. Now, is that, I'm just looking at there in the distance, is that an artifact on the planet that I can see down there? It looks like it is. Is that actually an object? Somebody will be able to tell me in the chat. So that is Lorville. So you can actually see it from space. How cool is that? Right, anyway, so this is my ship. This is the Cutlass Black, which I sort of fell in love with, really, because it's kind of Serenity from Firefly. I know it's way smaller actually than the Firefly, but it's got these amazing VTOL engines. And it just kind of looks mean, and it's a bit of a badass ship in the lore as well. I haven't read all the lore much yet, but it's a dodgy kind of ship, okay? It's got a dodgy vibe to it, which I liked. So, and here we go. So, okay, this bit, okay, and I've talked about this already before. Now, this whole business about opening the door of your ship and getting on board. Now, certain people in the spacefaring community have basically said, oh yeah, well, you'll get bored of doing that after about 7 times, right? I've been doing this for days now, and this just does not get old, all right? This does not get old. Let me just state that again. this makes this ship so much more a personal vehicle, right? I feel more of an attachment to this ship, this Cutlass Black, that I've owned for like 2 weeks, than any ship in Elite Dangerous that I've had for the last 9 years, literally. And I am not exaggerating there. This ship is my little ship, okay? Because I can get in it. It's a ship. It's not just a menu. That makes such a big difference to playing this game. It's just absolutely astonishing. Okay, in terms, and I don't want to use the word immersion because everyone uses that, but it is the fact that I can walk on and off. Look, and I can, it's just sitting here on the pad waiting for me to tell it what to do. Okay, I can walk on and off, and then I hit this like little hydraulic button here, and the door closes up behind me. Okay, I am still in awe of this feature. Okay, so that just makes me feel such an attachment to this. I mean, this ship isn't very big. It feels like a place. And I can't emphasize this enough. I really cannot emphasize this enough. How much more compelling that is, okay, to just be able to hang around in your ship. And, I don't feel in any, what I love about this is I don't feel any particular hurry to get out there and do stuff. I'm just chilling. Did I, have I made the bed? Yeah, is the ship okay? Yeah, the ship all looks good. There isn't actually that much interactivity in this particular ship at the moment. Some of the other ships have opening doors and things, but there's lots of little features that I discovered only the other day in here. There are a set of chairs at the back here. Okay, so if you want to come on board my ship at some point, look, I can sit you down, and then I can sit, okay, and just hang out in the cargo bay for 5 minutes, all right? Because I can. It's just, it's just brilliant. And me being the OCD sort of person that I am, I like to tidy up when I finish. So there we go. I'm just gonna close the seat. It's got 6 little seats for your mates to sit in. I mean, how cool is that? So that's impressive. So ship interiors, I really couldn't go back to Elite, even if I wanted to, which I don't. I couldn't go back to Elite having experienced this. It has totally spoiled Elite for me in that regard, because this ship feels like a real thing because I can walk up and around it. There's a turret up at the back there which you can shoot down things. So that ship interiors, me, and I'm not an on-foot person. Okay, I was much more interested in Elite in the flying the spaceships kind of part of the game, which is where my true love lies. Okay, but the fact I can walk around in the ship and interact with the ship makes the ship real. That's totally invaluable as far as I'm concerned. So that's really good. The other thing I love about this is when you first sit in the seat, okay, the ship is switched off. Okay, there's a lot more sim aspects here. The ship is off. Okay, it doesn't it doesn't do anything. It's like you have to switch the ship on, which is, again, I just like it. Okay, you switch the ship on, the displays light up. Okay, now the displays in this ship are relatively low tech. Okay, it's the Drake kind of style apparently, and I don't know too much about the law yet, but the Drake kind of style is that'll do. Okay, it's sort of British Leyland in space. It's kind of that'll do, right? You've got all the information you need. We don't need to make it look pretty. You've got all the information you need to fly the ship. So it's got flat panel displays. Some of the ships do have holograms, but this one doesn't. It has flat panel displays. But the cool thing here from a sim perspective is I can look at each of the displays and go, actually, this one here, I don't want that one to be displaying this is the power distribution wise. So if you're in Elite Dangerous world, this is your pips, but here you've got a graphical interface which allows you to spread the power around between different systems. But what I can do is I can basically go to the menu here. The screens actually work. So if I say, actually, no, I want the shields on that display, because that's the way I like it, I can have the shields on that display. If I want the weapon status on that display, I can have the weapon status on that display. And then they've got tabs, and I can see how much ammo I've got on board and all the missiles and sort of things. So it's just that much more. Was it power? There we go. And you've got little I don't know what these things are telling me yet, but I'm working on that. But they've all got little graphs and things, and you've got things. So the sense of actually flying a spaceship is much higher, because you've got all this interactivity that you can play around with. So that's the first thing. Anyway, so the HUD is fairly self-explanatory. So starting from the left at the top there, you've got VTOL, CPLD, ESP, and gear. Now, VTOL is vertical takeoff and landing, obviously. Only applies to certain ships, this one included. CPLD is coupled and uncoupled mode, which is kind of analogous to flight assist on and off in Elite. I haven't really played with that yet, so I'm leaving that one for the time being until I learn a bit more about how these things fly. ESP, I don't know what that one is. Gear is undercarriage. Okay. One of the things that's very different about this in terms of the way the thrust and all that sort of stuff works is I'm moving up and down now on the screen. You can see that indicator moving to the red zone and then back down into the green zone. That is how much thrust you can demand from your engines. Okay, so if I set it to the top, that means when I put the throttle forward, I will get maximum thrust from the ship. Okay, now that could be dangerous in some circumstances. I could be pulling a high G turn, in which case I will black out. If I do that in the atmosphere, I may cook my ship. If I do it too close to something, then I'll just smash into it because I'm asking for full burn from the engine. So, but what I can do is I can basically say, actually, I only want 50% thrust available to me, or I only want 25% thrust available to me, or I only want tiny little bits of manoeuvring capability available to me. So you set it down there for takeoff and landing, okay? So you don't go too fast. So you've got both a regulator on the amount of thrust that you have and the throttle control, which is really, really, really nice. It's not actually quite correct. That only limits your top speed. So it's that kind of mechanism. I don't know if I'm talking about all these things accurately, because this is my sort of first impressions. So okay, so it's a top speed limiter, right? Okay, so there's a computer in there that's doing that sort of thing. So if I take off now with vertical thrusters, let's just do an external view. I'm in VTOL mode, so I'm in relatively, and that's at the moment maximum speed that my ship will allow me to go. All right. And you can see that the computer does do things like it kind of does the retro thrust. And let's switch the engines to VTOL mode, which is again just cool. The ship's got moving parts which kind of do something. Then there's the undercarriage, which is N, I think. Is it N? Thought it was N. Undercarriage. I've not got focus on the thing. Let's try it again. Why isn't that working? Oh, there it goes. Right, pressing the wrong button. Yeah, somehow the engine fixed itself from the other one. Is it the new Cutlass deal? No, this is still the Cutlass Black. Okay, so now I'm in space. I'm not sure. I think the joystick's got a slight problem with my floating dead zone again. So let's try that. There we go. It's kind of steady now. Okay, so I'm in space. And if I put the throttle all the way forward, the ship hardly moves because I've got the thrust speed limiter, whatever it is, at a relatively low setting. So I'm drifting slowly away from the space station, as you can see. So if I whack that up, what will happen is, let's put it up to a kind of a cruising speed. You hear the engines come on, and then the ship moves up to the velocity that you've set. And then the engine switch back off again. So there's a bit more realism here in the sense that if I look externally, I don't know why that is dropping. I think it's the mouse. Is once the ship hits its speed, the engine switch off again. Okay, so it's a little bit more realistic. There's no sense of constant thrust. So if I speed it up a bit, you'll see the engines come on for a bit, and then once it reaches that speed, the engines cut out again. So there's more realism here, which is quite nice, which I like. Okay, it's not like super realistic in the sense it's 6 degrees of freedom at the moment because I haven't played with that decoupled mode, but there's more realism here already in terms of ship. In terms of the handling, okay, this is a relatively small ship, so if I do a barrel roll, you can see the sort of handling mechanism it has. The ship pitches, it banks. It does have yaw, and the yaw is not nerfed. Okay, so the yaw is about the same. It's not. It's probably about the same as the pitch, actually, looking at that. So you've got roll, and you've got pitch. So you've got everything that you kind of would expect a spacecraft to do. And if you watch it from outside, you can see the thrusters doing their thing to sort of stabilize the ship and various other bits and pieces. That's, you know, that all works as you kind of would expect it to. So that's good. That's good. All right. I've tried it in combat, and it is good fun. It's a little bit more turrets in space, as you would expect, because you've got the yaw as well. But it's a lot of fun. I don't really have any complaints with the the flight model from that perspective at all. It's quite happy. Do I know about SEM speed? The speed is below the red, you're at safe combat maneuvering speed. Okay, so that's what that is. I wonder why it went red. I assumed it was a safety thing. So as you can see, at the moment I'm flying forward, and it's saying that, where it says GSAF, that's a G meter. I'm not quite sure what GSAF means. That's just above where it says no target on the HUD on the right hand side. You can see there it's saying 0G, whereas if I pull if I pull a loop, you can see it goes straight up to 7G. Okay, so it's warning me that, you know, that's a pretty extreme maneuver. If I do that at half that speed, you'll notice that it pulls it down, and I'm only pulling 3.5 Gs. Okay, so all the time I keep the speed in this zone here, below the red zone, I'm in a safe maneuvering speed. Okay, so I've got to bear that in mind when I'm flying. Very important, because if I push it up here and I go to full throttle, okay, notice I'm flying in a straight line. I'm getting 7G, so the ship knows. You know, the ship is pushing me back in my seat now with a force of 7Gs until I get to whatever the top speed the ship is set at by there. Okay, so 1,100 whatever's, and now I'm back to 0G because I'm no longer accelerating. Okay, and the same if I retro thrust back down to a safe maneuvering speed, the ship doesn't slow down as fast because it hasn't got the main engines. You know, it's got 3.3 G negative. You know, so it's like I'm being squashed against the windshield now until the speed comes down. And if I pull maneuvers at this speed, I may black out. In fact, it was quite funny when I was flying with my son, because he was in the turret, and we started doing some maneuvers to deal with some baddie ships, and his character passed out in the turret because of the maneuvers I was making. And he basically said, Dad, I can't fire the guns. And he was like, why, what's happening? He says, I'm blacked out. I said, you what? I said, I blacked out in the turret because the turret wasn't facing forward at the time I did the maneuvers. The game simulated him blacking out because of the G-forces I was pulling in the ship. That's how cool it is, all right? And I was like, really? That's like really, really cool. So thank you for the followers, by the way, and please keep in mind, as the game goes from patch to patch, the flight model will change. So yeah, this is something to be aware of. Okay, the game is clearly under development. But that's the first thing. The experience of flying the ship around in space is very, 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 very cool. And there's lots of things you need to take into consideration when flying. Not least switching engines on and off and making sure systems are working and configured correctly. There's a lot more stuff to do. What's very cool though is I'm just going to throttle back down to 0 for a moment. And stabilize the ship so it's not rotating. There we go. Okay, so I've now stopped dead in space. I'm going to switch the engines off. Okay, they've now gone red. Okay, have I used uncouple mode? No, I'm not going there yet, Gorasu, because I'm still learning. Steep learning game. Let me get out of the ship here. Okay, now this ship is a medium-sized ship. There's another seat here behind me. Okay, which another player could occupy if I have one on board, co-pilot seat. Now they can do other stuff. Okay, so if I get them to switch the power on here, they can take over some of the controls for me. So I can basically concentrate potentially on flying the ship. They can be dealing with shield configurations, weapons configurations, and anything else that I want them to be able to deal with. So they actually have a role on the ship. All right, they actually have a role on the ship. This is really a big deal for playing with your friends. Okay, you know, because basically you say, look, can you look after the missiles? Can you look after the shield? Can you look after the energy configuration and all the other stuff? Well, I'm going to concentrate on flying the damn ship. Okay, so that's important. Okay, there is a reason to have multi-crew. There's something for you to do in this seat, which is again a bit of a revelation, really. That's impressive. Now, the other thing on this ship has a turret. Okay, let's just enter the turret. Okay, so I sit down, and you climb up here, and then this turret area has stuff as well. Okay, so let's how do I switch the power on here? Power on. There we go. There's even a little switch, right? Okay, so this is the turret view from the ship. Okay, and the turret works as you'd expect a turret to. Okay, you've got a field of view. And this turret is only on top of the ship. The ship doesn't have one below. So you can see that's the back of the ship. Okay, this is the front of the ship, and then basically you are in this turret. All right. There's none of that external third-person view. Basically, you're in a turret, and then are the guns actually active? They're not actually active at the moment. I don't know how. I don't switch the guns on. That's exit. Decrease sensitivity. Switch fire mode. Staggered. I'm not sure how to actually power up the guns. My son did it. That gives me knowledge of this. Where's the actual? That's power off. Exit. Where are the actual? The Panther guns are not charged. Flip the switch. Which switch? Switch gyro mode. It is. I've got. That says power off. So turn it off and on. Okay, let's try that. Okay, so it's resetting its alignment. Maybe I need to do that. Power on. Let's try power on again. There we go. It's now charging the guns. Okay, so these are laser guns on top of the ship. I don't know quite why it didn't charge the first time. So here I am on top of the ship, and what I've got is, you know, how cool is that? It's just. Okay, and this is the view you get as the gunner. Now, while I am flying around, you know, the space around me is changing. Okay, it's and it's even set up well. Even if you try and shoot your ship, the turret knows and it avoids the profile of the ship, so you can't accidentally blast your own hull. So that's mode together. There's also where is it? Switch fire mode. Okay, so I've got staggered mode now. So it's just really good. And my son and I had flew around like this, so he was in the turret and I was flying the ship. There is, and I haven't experienced this firsthand myself, but there's also a gyro mode. This allows you to I think adjust so that the gyros on the turret adjust for the fact the ship is moving and dodging about. Okay, so yeah, I mean, just look at it. It's just it just looks amazing. And press Q for relative mode. So so what we discovered is this ship, this Cutlass Black, is about 5 times more effective when there's somebody in the turret than just flying the ship, because the forward guns only fire forward. Okay, but the fact that you can stick a person in this turret and then just basically, this ship doesn't, then you can be firing backwards, dealing with somebody behind you. You can be tracking somebody who's trying to evade you over the sides like this. It's just staggeringly good. All right, it's just staggeringly good. And then when you're done, you basically we're out of trouble. We just power off. The turret resets itself, and then you just exit, and you basically go back down into the ship, and you meet up with your co-pilot and go, yes, we killed them. It's like high five. It's so immersive. It's really good. Okay, and if I climb back into by comparison, this is the pilot's view, and the pilot can control the guns on the ship. Okay, so let me just power this up again. There we go. Put the shields back on. So I've got forward firing laser guns, And I've also got some multi-cannons as default kind of things on the ship. So again, looking externally, let's try not to shoot the space station. So this is what the weaponry looks like. So you've kind of got, yeah, laser guns there, and I've got multi-cannons up here. And there's satisfying sounds as well. So that's awesome. And then again, let me get into the turret while that's going on. So that, you know, there's a real compelling reason to have multi-crew in Star Citizen over and above anything else. A, you can hang out with your mates on your spaceship in the kind of lounge area of the ship, but you can actually genuinely feel like you're doing something. And it really makes a massive difference to how this works. So let's switch that on. There we go, it's recharging. Can I do an external view of this? Does it work? Yeah, it does. There we go. Okay, check that out. I can fire at the camera. How cool is that? So that's basically, you know, this is that's how good it is. All right, it's genuinely this good. And bigger ships will have more impressive weaponry and stuff, you know. So it's, but it's immense fun. All right, it's immense fun flying together with friends. So that's the first impression. Just the ships themselves are just absolutely stonkingly brilliant. Like, you know, if you love the spaceship thing and you like hanging around with mates to have adventures on ships, this really is where it's at. It's unparalleled, really, that kind of ability to do that. Need to show you a character. Yeah, so the bigger ships will have bigger guns, right? So I'm looking forward to that kind of stuff. Now let's actually go somewhere, because that's also interesting as well. Okay, so the entirety of Star Citizen right now takes place in a single star system, which I must admit I was a bit surprised by that, but that's just where we are right now with Star Citizen. Okay, so which doesn't sound very much. Yeah, particularly when you contrast with Elite Dangerous and 400 billion star systems, right? But everything in here is pretty much kind of handcrafted stuff. So there's a lot of detail. Okay, now I'm going to take you to where am I going to go? Now there are 4 main planets here. There's Microtech, which is like an icebound world. There's one we're near here at the moment, which is a kind of corporate slavery planet, which is really intimidating, horrible. Arccorp, which is kind of Coruscant from Star Wars, if you think about that sort of thing, and then Crusader, which is actually a gas giant. So hopefully I can take you around some all of these and sort of show you some of the sites. So let me do that. We're going to go down to Hurston first. Now I think somebody said we can actually, the tower we can actually see already from orbit. So we're still really. Oh, I switched the power off. Didn't want to do that. We're relatively still near to the space station. So there's the space station. We've you know, since I've actually been talking to you guys, you know, we've gone around to the night side of the planet, so we've been in orbit, which is quite cool. So I'm going to switch on what's known as the quantum drive. Okay, so the quantum drive is your fast travel mechanism. So No Man's Sky has got pulse engines, Elite Dangerous has got frame shift, and Star Citizen has quantum drive. Okay. So you can zoom in on the city. Now I don't know where the target is gone. Lawville is what I'm after. There it is. There. Okay, you've got a slightly different thing. So there's Lawville. It's now as you can see, the sun is setting because we're in an orbit around the planet. So you've got that sort of realism here going on. These planets are not full size, as I understand. They're either a quarter or they're a sixth of actual kind of real size. But to be honest, I haven't noticed. Okay, so there's Lawville. Right. All I need to do is I press B. And the quantum drive will engage, and then we'll move forward. Now, as I understand it, the quantum drive isn't faster than the speed of light. It can only operate up to about 20% of the speed of light. So, there's the considerations in travel time and all that kind of stuff going on here. Press F5 through to F8 and watch the power triangle. Okay, I'll have to play with that again in a bit. Right, so there we go. It's actually dark down here at the moment, so let's switch that off. That is, so this is the thing, it's quite difficult to see what's going on sometimes. Let's spin around. So various different districts there. I think that's the landing pad directly in front of me. Let's go down there. This thing, by the way, I keep accidentally pressing it, F1. This is your menu, okay? But it's not a menu. It's like a watch. It's like a hologrammatic watch. So you bring your watch up towards you and you tap on it, and then this hologram appears in your face, which gives you useful stats. So if you want to communicate with somebody or you want to take a mission, you do it through this kind of holographic interface, which is appearing in front of your eyes, which is a nice way to integrate it into the game. And then you switch it off. You notice you click it and your hand goes down, so you're kind of always present. And you can do an awful lot of stuff just with that. So let's get down there. We'll have to contact ATC to land, and we'll see how it goes. So actual FTL is a jump point. Now, is there actually a jump point in the Stargate? I haven't seen a jump point. I don't know if one actually exists yet, because at the moment there's only the one system, so there's nowhere to go. But I really like that Moby Glass interface. I think that's a really neat sci-fi way of doing things. It's effectively rendered on your helmet, which is kind of how it would be in sci-fi, isn't it? So there aren't any jump points there yet. Okay, so no jump points yet to see. So those are coming. So this is a restricted area. And if I get into a certain area, I'm not allowed to fire. Otherwise, I'll get something called a crime stat. Okay, and you don't want a crime stat because otherwise you end up in jail. And you have to do jobs to get out of jail. So there's an entire game loop about just getting out of jail, which is quite funny. Okay, so let's head down towards the surface. And Moby Glass is like is a very sensible, and I think as a science fiction writer, a very plausible extrapolation from mobile phone technology. Think an iPhone with hologram, okay, projected into your eyeballs. Kind of makes sense, right? You can adjust power to ship systems. Yeah, the power triangle. I have played around with that a little bit. I'm leaving it kind of where it is at the moment because I'm kind of used to how it all works. So I'm just waiting now as I approach the ground for the ATC warning to pop up and tell me. But if you look around there, all that stuff that you can see down there on the left-hand side is all advertising boards, okay? Right, please contact ATC to land. Now, the Cutlass Black does have a slight tendency to dive out of control if you take your hands off the controls. So I'm just going to throttle down to 0 while I contact ATC. Basically, I do that by going down here, the comlink, clicking on friends and asking for Lawville landing services. Then I get some NPC dialogue. There we go. So there's a few things I've crashed the ship a few times on approach by looking at this interface and not looking at what the ship is doing. And I go, why is my ship out of control? So there we go. Now I can see I get a HUD indicator. That little circle there with the down-facing chevron is basically the landing pad. Now you can see all those cities over there, skyscrapers and stuff. It's all there. You can actually fly around it. It isn't just eye candy and you bounce off an edge of a map. It's all there. You can fly through the city if you wish. I've also got don't know if I've got them switched on at the moment. So I'm going to throttle down to a slower speed here. What's quite interesting about this is it's quite hard actually to see where you've got to go because it's a very complicated environment. Right, and there we go. I'm just switching the lights are now on. The lights on the ship are much better done than the Elite Dangerous ones. They reach a lot further, so you can actually see correctly. Now there actually is my landing pad. It's actually a hangar. I've got to descend into it. Now this is actually quite a tricky operation. I'm going to switch to hover mode, VTOL, because there's what I've got to go. It's actually like I've got to descend into that. All right. And apparently I can land outside the city as well, so that's quite cool. So there we go. I'm going to use the external view. I haven't found a good way of doing this in ship yet. So there we go. I'm going to just gently thrust forward. That's where I've got to get to. Cut the thrust a bit more. There we go. And then there we go. I think that's about. So I'm going to descend using the external camera. Hope I don't nudge anything. I think I'm pitching down a bit. There we go. So the back of my ship it's a very small docking bay. There we go. I think I'm just about squeaking in. Right, there we go. So let's go down. So docking is tricky but fun. Okay, but what it does need, one thing it's missing here that Elite Dangerous has, is that hologram of the landing area. It's very difficult to see without the external camera what's actually going on. Just make sure I put the gear down as well before I land. Why is the gear not dropping? Come on. I'm pressing N. Seems to be a bit reluctant to. There we go. Let's drop the gear. You do notice that occasionally I get that. Is there's a bit of a lag on some of the controls. So yeah. So ED has got a really nice hologrammatic landing indicator, which would be really handy here. Okay, but you can do it with the external view, which is kind of good. Right, so I'm on the ground. I've landed. I've docked. I can contact. Vehicle maintenance services here, so I can repair. I don't know. I must have damaged something. Restock, refuel, and I've got two different fuel tanks. Okay, I've got hydrogen fuel, which is for my thrusters for normal space manoeuvring, and quantum fuel. I don't know what it actually is, but that's for traveling in system space. Okay, now what's interesting here is look at the hydrogen indicator there on the HUD on the right hand side. It doesn't immediately, you can't really see it, it's behind the chat unfortunately. It doesn't immediately fill up. Okay, there's some NPC presumably plugging something into my ship and then going turning on the hydrogen and then filling up my ship. So nothing happens immediately, instantly. It's not like boom, it's done. It's just, it's not very long delay, it's a few seconds, but it just adds again to that sense that there's a real ship and some stuff's happening. So let's power off the ship. Yes, I know the weapons are locked. I want to turn the ship off. There we go. Why is the ship not turning off? Maybe I'll just do it on the HUD. There we go. Engine off. Where's the power off? Power off. There we go. There's always more than one way to do things. So again, there we go. And then now the ship is powered down. I can get off, okay, and I can walk to the back of the ship and I can open the door. I still love this bit. Okay, and then just walk out. Okay, and here I am in the spaceport. I close the ship up behind me because I don't want anybody pinching my ship while I'm away. And here we go. Right, so landing bay is over here. And then we have to get in a lift. All right, there's quite a lot of lifts in Star Citizen, but you use it to get about. Okay, so we go back to the Taser spaceport. Now this planet is it's very, very cool and atmospheric, but it is very okay. So Balor says U power, I engines, O shields, P. Oh, I didn't know that. Okay, that's quite cool. I'd learnt I for the engines, but that was it. Okay, so here we are. In the spaceport now. Okay, so every environment looks entirely different. You can see they're reusing, elements. This place is a little bit downtrodden. It's not quite as bad as some of the places I've seen, but look, it's there's mess on the floor. A little bit like this. There will be. Look, you can see down there interplanetary and domestic flights. Okay, you can't go and take those yet, but you will be able to in the future, which is very cool. They have ships just sort of sitting around sometimes advertising things like go check out our new ship. But what I've actually got to do here is I've got to find my way to the transit terminal, and the environments are so big. Somebody there standing in their underpants for some strange reason. Hurston, there we are, Hurston Mass Transit. You actually have to follow the signs like a real airport. You must also be careful that you don't run down the stairs too fast because you can fall and break your legs. Oh, it sounds like the ship's being stored for me. Customs area, not much happens in here right now, but you can see that potentially it would if you were smuggling dodgy stuff. Again, stuff to be added in the future. You are being monitored, so that gives you a sense of what this place is like. Look, there's even a security camera up there, which I think, yeah, it's actually moving. Look, It's really kind of not a very nice part of the world. Customs interviews. Right, so is this the exit? Yeah, here we go. Fortunately, I'm obviously looking like a well-behaved citizen. And these environments are massive. Okay, they really are big. It's not just like the single room that you get in Elite Dangerous with a couple of levels in it. This is there's is that to Metro Centre? See, you can get lost. You can get lost very easily in here. So actually, I've got two exits: to Central Business District, or I can go to the Metro Centre. Okay, let's go to the Central Business District. I don't think I've even been there before. It's hard to remember where you've been because there's so much here. Okay, and this is where I get on this train. This is an impressive piece of work as well. Okay, so you don't just sometimes I have been there. Okay, forgotten. It's got that, definitely got that Blade Runner vibe. No, there's the train. The train's going to be arriving in 9 seconds. They're very, very precise, these trains. And you get kind of like a tube map, which is different. There we go. And we just get on the train, and the doors close in a moment. Hopefully. Maybe I'm staying too close. Oh, there they go. And the train goes off. Okay. But while we're on the train, we can still sit, right? Sit on the tube train. It's, and then you can look out the windows. Look, it's just like being on a train. It's very, 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 very impressive. This isn't actually one of the best trains because some of them have got much more panoramic views. But stuff is going past the windows as you would expect to see from a train. There we go. You can kind of look out there. It's night time here at the moment, and it's just Blade Runner. It it really is. It's just amazing to look at. And as you can see, look, this is an incredibly complicated environment. I'm streaming it on what I've been told is my potato PC. It's not a problem. Okay, Star Citizen is not badly performing at all. So that whole thing is it's inaccessible unless you've got a master PC. It's not true. It just isn't true. It's a complete fud as far as I'm concerned. This is imminently playable in the way it works. And what's good, and some people have said to me, and it will still be the novelty at this stage, so I do need to bear in mind. It's a 4-minute ride. Okay, I'll bear that in mind. And so it probably isn't the most interesting content for streaming, but this business, the fact that I've got to take a train to get to different places, I absolutely love this because I like living in a fantasy world. This is really, really cool. The fact that there's this level of interactive. Okay, the train has now arrived, and here I am. I have no idea where I am relative to where I was. Oh, I think this is where I was the other day. Yeah, so I've been here before. Now look, so this is the weird sci-fi environment that we're in. And there are bugs. Okay, there's a poor bloke there who's fallen through the chair. Things aren't fixed. All right, but just check out this place with these crazy statues of some important dude. This place is total corporate slavery. It's very oppressive. All right. So lots of sci-fi vibes going on here, and if we go up here, again, it's just not. It just isn't the same old thing, the same old time. Every time you go into a new building in this game, you're kind of like, wow, and you just got to look around for it. There's guns and stuff on display, and yet another massive statue. And over here, there's actually a memorial to this guy. I don't know who he is in the lore, but the foundations I lay are so we may all stand higher. So Archibald Hurston, who presumably is who this planet is named after, is clearly a guy who felt he needed a big statue. And it's like, it gives you a real sense of atmosphere. Okay, so look, and here's Hurston Dynamics. The history, the lore of the game is written on the walls of the game. That is such a brilliant idea. You can get into the lore by just playing the game, and that's exactly how it's supposed to be. You're not supposed to look it up in a damn piece of text, but why not just splat it across the walls of the stuff that you're looking at? So really, really impressed by things like that. Lore integration into the game narrative. Literally a wall of text, yeah. That's brilliant. I really like that, because you kind of, I'm going to go and have a look at that. Someone said, oh, I found this plaque in the so-and-so system. What does it say? Oh, well, you should go visit yourself. Yeah, that's very, very cool. So let's go back onto the train, because what I want to do is sort of show you what a mission looks like. And I think I need to possibly take the train on the other platform. Oh no, maybe not. There's a train going away there. I've just missed the return train. But there'll be another one along the minute. There's a very, very, very good train service. There's lots more lore in the book. Yeah, so I haven't really got time. But trust me, there's stuff around. Okay. Yeah, and this building is ridiculously large. Okay, so there's another train coming in. There's the train. Right, yeah. Shoom, in comes the train. That's so impressive, really. So I don't need to be at a terminal in order to pick up a mission. There seems to be like there's a global wireless network for contracts. Okay, so I can browse what's available. So let's do, there's a basically very simple delivery mission. Okay, so I'm going to do this delivery mission to show you how that works. We got to go to HMS Anderson on Aberdeen and drop it off to Hadley on Hurston. Okay, so let's just do that, because that allows us to take some stuff and move around and do some things. So it's now telling me to go and collect it, which will appear on my HUD, I think, at some point. There it is. So it's actually over there. Okay, so it's 68,000 kilometers away is where I've got to go to. Obviously I'm going to need a ship for that. So yeah, browsing your phone while on the train, I mean, that makes perfect sense, doesn't it? So you can muck about with stuff like sorting out your next contract whilst you're in the motion of doing some other things, like moving from destination to destination. So so that sort of stuff is very exactly how it should be. You're using the fact that you're stuck on a train going somewhere to do something useful in the game world. Genius. So that again is incredibly impressive. Right, so there's the spaceport. So we're heading back to our ship now. Please take a look at the New Deal ship shop in the spaceport. You can't miss it. I saw that on the way through, so I'll take a quick stop there. We're just waiting for us to get to this. Yeah, so we now know we've got 14 seconds. So there are little comfort indicators like that to tell you how long the thing that you're in is going to take to transact. And there we are. We're back in the spaceport now. Okay, there we go, get off that side. Okay, so exit here. Let's just run quickly through here, not at all suspiciously. Customs hall, which is where you get to the spaceships. I've got to work my way through here. So customs restricted. So before I can get into the main mall of the spaceport, I have to go through customs, which kind of does make sense, doesn't it? And here we are. Okay, so this is the main mall of the environment. There's that spaceship that I saw. So okay, so there's the New Deal, please. Okay, let's go and have a quick look over there. Okay, so you can go in here. Now leaving Archimedes flight. So what happens in here? Okay, so this is so wow, look. So this is you can go and have a look in the game at ships that you might want to buy. All right, so there's kind of ships on display and stuff, which is just like a museum. Okay, so I don't know what ships these are. That looks like that's okay. There we go. It tells you an Origin M50 Interceptor. You can go and check out the ships that you might be interested in buying in the game. All right, and it looks like they're interactive. Is that the case? Can I actually look inside the ship here? I can, look. So I can actually. I mean, there you go. How cool is that? I can actually get a feel for the ship into the pilot seat. There we go. I can actually check out a new ship while I'm in the lobby. I mean, that's what you want, isn't it? It's just you're just in the game world all the time. It even asked me to power it on. Open ladder. Remember how to get back out of here. How do I get back out of the ship? I don't want to power it on. I want to get out. Open pilot cabinet P. There we go. How do I get? It's Y, isn't it? There we go. I can climb down the side of this. And it's even got a hand that holds and stuff. So it's that level of interactivity with the game world. You can go into a ship sales thing and go and check out the ships, right? And say, no, I don't fancy that one, by actually interacting with the real ship, which is that's just amazing. And that's repeated all over the shop with all sorts of different things. So that's elevators to the hangars. Where are the actual consoles to summon the ships? Oh, they're over there. So in order to get your ship, you have to ask it to be delivered to a hangar. Let's do that. Retrieve, there we go. And it will tell me it's been put to somewhere. Whenever you go back, take a look at the constellation ships. Yeah, so much to see, right? So much to see and do. I just want to run a simple mission to kind of show you what that looks like. And it doesn't feel like a chore walking around these environments because they're all so different. I mean, I'm not generally an on-foot person, but I'm totally convinced by this because it's so immersive. It's just feels like I'm in Firefly or Star Wars because cool stuff is happening just around every bend. So there's my ship brought back to me. Again, this whole getting on the ship I just think it's just amazing. There we go. Open the back door. Particularly on this ship, this Drake, because you get in by the back door. Some of the ships you can climb in, as you saw, through the canopy. And close the door. It just gives me such a sense of ownership of this ship. Absolutely love this. And I have to get into the seat and do stuff. It's brilliant. It's a lot slower in terms of getting actual stuff done, but I'm having fun. Just horsing about with my ship. So this bit's kind of similar, really, in some ways. You know, you have to contact ATC to take off, which kind of makes sense, doesn't it? So we'll just wait for the ATC to respond. And yeah, there's not much money to be made this. I'm only literally just starting out. So let's reset the thrust HUD. We're going to take off. We're in vertical mode. Let's try and keep the ship flat as we take off. Otherwise we'll scrape something. Don't go too fast is the rule. The other thing that's really worth bearing in mind in this game is that it's way less forgiving if you crash. You know, there's no concept in Star Citizen of ramming the ground at full thrust and bouncing off because you've got strong shields. Okay, that does not happen in this game. Don't do that. Okay, I'm in the wrong mode. Right, let's get that sorted out. Why isn't the undercarriage coming up? There we go. Sometimes there's a little bit of a lag occasionally on that undercarriage control. I don't know why that is. Right, so I've got to go over here to make sure I don't kill myself by going too fast. There you can see the destination. So I activate the quantum drive. It's telling me at the moment I've got to exit the atmosphere. Okay, you can't engage the quantum drive in an atmosphere, which kind of makes sense because you'd probably incinerate your ship. Traveling at 20th of the speed of light, 20% of the speed of light in an atmosphere would be a bad thing, I suspect. So little things like that you've got to get yourself out of. There you go. It's now engaged, so it's now turned blue, which means it's good. Then it calibrates for a moment, and then I can basically press, and we jump. Okay, and then we're in quantum drive. Okay, which looks like this, which does occasionally jolt up here. I have noticed that, especially if it's a short range jump. Sometimes it's really smooth, and sometimes it's not. So we are now here. I can't get back out of. There we go. Right, so we are now in orbit around what I assume is Aberdeen. Right, so there's pickup package. So again, what I do is I point the reticle at that, wait for it to calibrate, and then engage. Okay, so we're now landing on the daylight side of this planet. Oh, actually, I don't know, this is probably a moon, actually. The planet's very, very hot. You'll run into the building so you don't die from heat exposure. Okay, so there's lots of things like that. There's lots of environmental hazards. I've been on some places which are really, really cold. Some places, obviously, without an atmosphere. And this looks like the surface of Venus, to be honest. Doesn't look very nice at all. So that's right. Okay, so we are 20 20 kilometers out. And yeah, you do need to be a little bit circumspect. Okay, you will get a timer for life expectancy when you land. Okay, so things like that are kind of like, you know, you've got to really pay attention to your environment. Just from the pad to the thing, we should be fine. Okay, so I've got to pick up a package. This I haven't been here before. This looks like the surface of Venus, so it doesn't look like a particularly nice place. And you fly down to the surface kind of in one. It's really getting quite grim now, isn't it? Okay, 9,000 feet. Let's slow down. You can't. I can just about make out something on the surface there, but not very much. Okay. Holding F and right click while on foot shows you the human. Thank you for all the tips. I'm gonna have to watch this offline because I'm still having to concentrate really hard on flying at the moment, so I don't miss anything. So apologies, I'm not keeping up with the chat too well because there's a lot going on. Right, let's really slow down now. 3,000 meters. Okay, I don't know. That looks like a mountain. So are we beyond? It looks like we're beyond the mountain. I can just see the starport or whatever it is coming into view. 3 kilometers to run. Okay. Just quick external view there. Actually, no. It's on top of the mountain, isn't it? So I'm guessing. Do I need ATC clearance to land here? Let's switch the lights on. Not sure if the lights are on or not. So really throttle back at this point. Don't need ATC, just land wherever. Okay, so that's quite cool. So there is actually a landing pad. Let's use the landing pad. It's not occupied, so yeah. So I can land rough or I can land on the pad. Just land. Okay, so let's put the undercarriage down. Switch to VTOL mode. I've got the lights on. The lights are surprisingly effective. Look, they're really quite useful. The actual lights on the ship. So there's the pad. And here's another thing: you get atmospherics as you come close to touching down. On some of the planets, you blow up dust and all sorts of stuff. There isn't too much here, which is fortunate, right? So you can see where I've got to get to over there, right? So cut the throttle, level out, drop it down. We're down. There we go. That's not bad. I'm getting because I'm used to flight sims. It feels very natural to fly this ship. I'm going to leave. What I'm going to do is I'm going to switch the engines off. I'm going to leave the ship running. Okay. And I'm going to leave the ship lights on so I can see where I'm going, which is quite a handy thing. So you can land rough and then sneak your way in. Yeah, I mean, here we go. Armstrong moment. This is an Armstrong moment. Okay, so I've got to be careful. So open. There's a hostile atmosphere outside. It's going to probably warm me. Look, and look at that. I mean, I can see another planet in the sky, and it's just dark. And literally, I walk off the plank, and I'm on the surface of a new world. Right, survival estimate. There we are. 12 minutes. Okay, so I've got to be reasonably quick because this is a hostile environment. So let's leg it over to where the package is. And I think I need to walk down. There we go, that's the actual surface of the planet. Don't know what the gravity is there. 170 degrees centigrade, so this is insanely hot. Okay, my character's getting a bit tired after running for that length of time. But there you are, the package is in the building. And the target lighting, if you like, i.e. where you need to go to get to your destination, is very, very good. Here's another thing I really, really like, okay? As you walk into these places, you have to open it. It's a proper airlock, okay? You have to close the door behind you, cycle the airlock, the door's closed, and then after the cycling process is complete, only then does the inner door work. So there's none of this magic just walking through the walls stuff. This must be one of the loneliest dudes ever. Whoever this poor guy is. But where's my package? It's 4 meters. It's there. It's 4 meters in that direction. Oh, I have to pick it up from this machine. Right, okay, so basically what I need to do is pick up. There we go. So it's like a secure locker. There's the package I've got to take. Okay, I grab it and I literally pick it up and carry it with me. Okay, So now that actually slows me down because I'm carrying a package. I don't know how heavy it is, but it's bulky enough to be awkward. There's my character with the package. I have to carry it physically to my ship. So I can do multiple missions at any given time, but only as much as my ship will capture, will be able to store these packages. Now you may be thinking, well, this is a busman's holiday. And it kind of is, but it's just really, really cool. If you want to just chill and spend your life as a white van man taxiing around the universe delivering packages, like Uber, you can. And or you can mix it up by shooting things or doing other contracts and stuff. What you do in this universe is entirely up to you. So jump here, it's a low gravity moon. Oh yeah, it is, isn't it? So you can kind of bounce. Okay, that's quite cool. And I can't run fast now. Now you can see there, 68,000 kilometers away, I've got to go back to the planet I was on in order to go. And you can just look at it, you can just see it hanging there in the sky. Very, very cool. Okay, so now what I've got to do is go back to my ship, open the door, do all the stuff. And this is like I say, this is an entry level, simple mission, but you can just see the way it works. Go in, close the door because I like things neat and tidy. I can put bigger cargo in this cargo area. I'm not going to do that here. This package is small enough for me to just take it in here, stick it on the floor where it's sort of, I can place it, and I basically say, okay, I'm going to stick it there against the wall, and it's now a thing on my ship. All right. It's there. Custom me to store those on your bed. Is it? Okay, I'll try that. I've sort of stashed it in the corner there. Then I get back in my ship, right? And I know from a kind of space adventure perspective, what I'm doing here is I'm just moving a package from one place to another. But it's the fact that I can do it, and it's actually a physical package. I mean, to me, it's mind-blowingly good. Okay, so back in the ship, take off, leave that base behind, switch the VTOL off, switch the undercarriage off. The undercarriage will... I'm not sure why my undercarriage... I am pressing N. Sometimes my undercarriage just... Whoa! What happened there? Why is my ship not going up? Come on, thrust. There's occasional odd bits of behaviour where things aren't doing quite what you expect. For some reason the gear does not always want to come up. Let's keep trying. It seems to like it in the external view more. I don't know why that is. Oh, it seems to like double touching it. Your gear hotkey, yeah, it's a bit weird. It is definitely N, but sometimes it requires a double tap to make it work. I don't know what that is. Anyway, let's get back into space. So I've got to go back to the planet where we were at to drop off this package. It's over there, disappearing into the sunset. So let's thrust upwards, get out into the atmosphere, and we can switch on the quantum drive. Looks like it's turned green, so let's gently, being very careful of the G-forces, maneuver our way back down. Here we are, drop package. Okay, so we are going to... I need to make sure... This is another thing that's a little bit awkward here, is that when you get lots of overlapping targets, it's quite hard to get it to lock onto the right one. So I'm guessing that's something they're probably going to be working on. So sometimes it's easier just to go into this display, which is actually kind of the map, and basically just say I want to go there, and then set the route inside that, and then it locks on target automatically for you, which is a bit easier. Then you can just calibrate and go, and then we'll jump back to the planet. Use the map. There we go. It's reading your mind. Yeah. So there's a few little things like that on the UI that aren't quite right yet, but there are things that they will definitely work on. Again, there's slight hesitations there as it comes out of that. That seems to be loading a bunch of stuff off the thing. Now there's drop-off package over there. HMS DS Hadley. Haven't been there before. Let's calibrate that, and off we go. And the ship automatically works out that you've got to go around the planet, so it takes that into account. Some things you can't get to when they're obscure, but some things you can. I haven't quite figured out what the rules for that are. In fact, we're going to be on the daylight side of the planet, so this is going to be quite cool. Actually, on the daylight side of the planet, we can see a bit more stuff. So let's see if this is, again, probably a small outfit, I'm guessing. I don't know what HDMS stands for, actually. Okay, so they're basically saying that Crusader's atmosphere is rough to get out of. Okay, so that's going to be interesting to see. So let's go for full throttle for the moment, 22 kilometers down. Crusader, so now Crusader is a gas giant. So there is a gas giant in the game, and you can fly into the atmosphere of the gas giant. It's a rather curious gas giant, actually, because it's got an oxygen atmosphere, which means at a certain height you can stand and breathe there unaided. I don't know how accurate that would be from a physics perspective. I don't know. I've never heard of a gas giant with an oxygen atmosphere, but as a place to hang out, it's very, very, very cool. Okay, so Hurston Dynamics mining station. Thank you, RDKL, for that. Oh, and a whole bunch of other people, Abstract Play and various other bits. Now, appreciate that. Tell me all that sort of thing. There's so many acronyms and things to learn, because of course I don't know the lore of this universe at all very well yet. So again, we're approaching this at either sunset or sunrise. It's difficult to say, but the planetary surfaces are immensely good. And again, you really need to pay attention as you're flying down, because if you hit the surface at speed, your shields are going to do zip. Okay, you will splatter yourself across the ground. So you know that is definitely a thing. So lots and lots more caution when you're flying. You've got to treat this much more like a flight simulator than playing a game, because it's nicely brutal. It's brutal. If you take liberties, then you know it hurts you. So, which I quite like, because I like that simmy aspect of it. Right, so what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to let's fly around the back here, and we'll land rough, okay, rather than landing on the pads, just because we can. So there's the base down there. Let's land here, okay. VTOL mode, and you can see I'm kicking up some dust, which again is something I really like. For some reason the gear seems to be double tap. I don't know why that is. Right, so I'm in VTOL mode. Anyway, I found a workaround. So let's gently land the ship. And the adjustability of the throttle is really nice. Okay, so hang on a minute. Here we go. Right, down we go, and we're down on the ground. I don't need the lights here, so I'm going to switch the ship lights off, switch the engines off. There we go. I'm going to leave the shields up. Okay, I can leave the ship powered, which is really nice. And there's sort of space dust, and you can see the plants from inside the cockpit, which again, amazing. Here we go. Another Armstrong moment. So same ship, same door, going out the back. Oh, I've got to take the package with me. Don't forget the package. Okay. So I've got to now pick this up, right? Grab. There we go. Take it with me. You know, none of this menu. Okay, none of this menu business. Open the door. There we go. Armstrong moment again. Different planet. And look at that. I mean, it's just, and there's stuff blowing past. I don't know what this planet's like. Okay, it's 13 degrees C. This is a bit more hospitable. But yeah, look at the ground. It's just. It's got plants and stuff, and look at that sun. Yeah, it just looks amazing. What's my FPS? I'm getting about 30 FPS. This is 1080. I'm playing it at 1080p at high settings, with I think things like shadows and stuff like that set to medium. Okay, now obviously because I've not gone to the pad, I'm now wandering around trying to find the entrance. There it is over there. But you know, it plays absolutely fine on a PC that is not state of the art. So this is again, I mentioned at the beginning of the stream, but it's i7 8770 processor, GTX 1070 NVIDIA graphics card. I've only got 16 gigabytes of RAM right now. I've got a RAM upgrade on the way. I am running from an SSD as per recommendations, which does make a lot of difference. And I've made a few tweaks to my NVIDIA settings in order to do that. But this is has it play, and plus I'm obviously streaming at the same time, so that's the performance I'm getting. Right, okay, so this is the same UI here. We basically now drop it, wait for that to open. There we go, and then we place. Step back, and it does its thing. Processes your package, right? And in a minute, there we go, transaction complete. We will now get paid. Okay, if you look at the top of the screen, objective complete, deliver package. Okay, should get a notification we're going to get some money in a moment. There we go, I got awarded 3,000 stuff. I completed a mission live on stream. There you go. So that's a mission cycle. Okay, that's a mission cycle. So it gives you an idea of the sort of things that you can do and the different sort of places you can visit. Now I do want, how are we doing for time, by the way? Because I've been playing. This game just slurps up your life really fast because it takes quite a long time to do everything, but it's so much fun doing it. You don't really notice the passage of time. Again, it's a sort of a deserty, unpleasant sort of world. Let's go back to my ship, which is sitting over there. And you got dust effects. Oh, I left the ship ramp down. That was naughty of me. Somebody could have jumped aboard my ship. That was very bad, wasn't it? Alright, there we go. Back in the ship. Have I been to Arccorp? Yes, I have. That is amazing. That is amazing. I've been to I think most of the main planets. I haven't been to all of the moons yet. So let's actually finish up by going to Arccorp, because I think it is one of the most visually impressive things I've ever seen in a computer game. So let's go there as a kind of summary of this thing so far. So there we go. I've seen the switch the engines on, thrust up, switch off the VTOL mode, put the gear up. Yeah, it seems like double tap. That seems to work. So I don't know why that is. Thrust. Off we go out of the atmosphere. Let's go to Arccorp, because I can show you a longer duration thing as well. So let's get ourselves into space. There we go. I mean, just look at it. It just looks fabulous. Microtech is my home. Yeah, Microtech is very impressive as well. It's like kind of going into an Apple iStore, really, but in space. So I must admit, you don't need to start with this ship. I bought it just because I sort of fell in love with the way it looked and the way the cargo bay ramp worked. So it's an amazing game, and you can jump into it at a lower level than this. You can buy ships in game with in-game currency. So it's not so much pay to win, because I don't think you can kind of win this game. It's just pay to where you want to start. I think that's slightly more accurate. Right, so we're now thrusting nicely out of the thing. And again, we can. I zoom it around, try not to lose control of the ship. There we go. So there's what it looks like, and it's quite hard to fly it backwards, but there we go. You kind of see what I mean. No, I can't fly it backwards. Let's get ourselves up into space. Right, we should be able to engage the quantum drive now. Let's go to Arccorp. There it is. Set the route. Why isn't it setting it? It's probably because I am on the wrong side of the planet. Yes, I am. Okay, so the destination is obscured by the planet. Okay, so there's a way around this, I've now learned, which is you have to use something called the Orbital Markers, or you can just point at a different destination and use those. So, in fact, I might just, that's Stanton. Let's just, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to head there for a bit. targeted. Oh, there's two things on the same spot, which is annoying. Let's just go to Arc L1 or L3. There we go. Okay, I'm running slowly out of hydrogen fuel. I'm just going to use that to get away from the vicinity of the planet for a moment, and then I can cut that and throttle back to 0 while I figure out what I'm doing. Have I got enough? Should have got enough. Right, I want to actually go there. So let's clear the route. Let's go there. Set the route. There we go. Work that time. Okay, so there's little things like that. Sometimes it's obscured, and you have to kind of work around that. I think like I say, I think somebody said they were going to change. Right, so let's go to Arccorp. This is basically Coruscant, effectively. So let's go there. Okay, so when we are in quantum drive, now you can notice here we've got 22 million kilometers to go. Okay, so while you're in quantum drive, guess what? You get out of your seat and go and do stuff. Okay, so I haven't got a coffee machine in this ship, but it would be nice if I did. But even so, look what I can do. Okay, I can, if I want to, open the side door of the ship and stare out into the void. Okay, which is actually quite unsettling. So that's just a bit weird, but it's, you know, be good way to get rid of one of your mates if you didn't like them. And you know, if I open the back door, okay, it's like very compelling just to run out there, okay, and see what the hell happens. I'm not going to do that, but what I will show you, check this out, okay. While we're in space, this is the other thing that makes me so love this. Is let's just go back into the cockpit. So you can do all this and the ship is doing its thing. It's still sticking in its quantum drive and going to its destination on autopilot. Okay, but let's drop it out of quantum drive for a moment. Okay, there we go, back into normal space. Okay, so I'm at 0 throttle. There we go. Right, back out. Okay, now I don't know if there's any repairs you can do in your ship in this configuration, but check what you can do. Okay, so I can open the side door here, or any of the other doors, okay, and I can just walk out into the void, okay, and then I've got my 6 degrees of freedom using my WASD keys to maneuver around, and space thrusts up and control thrust down. I'm now basically in EVA. Okay, there's my ship, and I'm outside it, and I can go over and inspect the turret and just check anything out that I want to. Now, I you know, Star Citizen veterans tell me if I can actually do anything out here. I know I can salvage things from other ships, but you know, I can do stuff, you know, and jump around if needs be. And then I can, you know, if I want to, let's go back a bit. I think I can close the door from out here. Possibly a little bit close. A bit too far away. There we go. So I think I can. There we go. Close the door. And if I wanted to jet around the back of my ship to check some stuff out, you know, I can. So I can do EVAs, and I'm literally here, floating in space with my ship. All right. It's just absolutely astonishing. Let's open the door. Okay, so there's my ship, and I can literally float into my ship, and then I'm guessing it's got anti-gravity plating, because then, you know, so there must be anti-gravity in this universe. And I just close the door, and there you go, I've just done an EVA. As simple as that. Okay. So yeah, so I'm guessing the ships in this universe have anti-gravity plating, which is a far more sensible thing to do, to be honest, from a lore perspective, than trying to maintain 0G. Because it just makes your life an awful lot easier. Right, and then you just get back in the ship, activate the quantum drive. I've just checked out, you know, I don't know, maybe we blew a fuse or something. Calibrate it up, back into quantum drive, boom, and then we're off again. All right, it's just, that's how good it is. And okay, and I know it's alpha. We've seen a few bugs along the way here today, but you know, I've now been playing for how long have I been streaming? You know, a while, and it works. Okay, it works. FPS is stable. Game is stable. Really, really good. We do have we do have gravity generators. Okay, so. And you can rescue players stranded in space. I've done some salvage missions on wrecks in space where you have to climb inside and ID dead pilots and all that sort of stuff. Very, very cool. The ability to do EVAs. And that's another thing, the scale of the ships. Okay, so there are big ships in this game, but certainly the entry-level stuff is small. And I think that helps because even the entry-level ships in Elite Dangerous are big. You know, the Sidewinder is the smallest ship. You know, the Sidewinder would dwarf this ship. Completely. You know, this ship is very small compared to a Sidewinder, but it's much more personal then as a result. And you can see that the ship interiors are actually, yeah, there isn't that much interior space in this ship, but there's enough to just do some stuff. So I think Elite's made a bit of a rod for its own back in the size of its ships, because some of those ships are like 200 meters long, and to model the interior of a 200-meter long ship is not the work of an afternoon, is it? That's an issue. Whereas an awful lot of the ships in Star Citizen are quite small. Some of them are just fighters, which you just literally climb in and out of the cockpit. So that's a bit more straightforward to do. I got this one because I just love the way you get on at the back through that boarding ramp. The Carrack is what the Anaconda wants to be when it grows up. So I haven't looked at many of the ships yet. So I'm still just getting a handle on the game. But first impressions of it really are utterly stonking. You know, every time I come across something, I'm expecting it to be, oh, I can't do that. And more often than not, the answer is, oh my god, I can do that. You know, I can go outside the ship. I can wander around this place. I can land rough and then walk back. You know, I can go into an underground cavern and explore stuff. As you'll see in a moment, the environments here are just astonishing to walk around with. So this is kind of Coruscant in Star Citizen, right? This place, it's a city planet. The entire surface of the planet is covered in city, all right? Now, obviously not the entire surface of the planet is mapped as gameplay. That would be insane. At the moment, you have to go to a place called, which I think I need to, there we go. It's called Area 18, which I just need to find on the surface. This is the only bit of the HUD I don't like. It's hard to find stuff because the HUD gets very crowded. There it is there. With information, and sometimes it's really quite hard to figure out where you kind of go. So there's Area 18, and it should, I imagine, there we go, orbit me around the planet. Okay, so let's watch it again if we can. Okay, so it does go a bit janky here sometimes. I don't know if it's because it's having to load a lot of stuff. I can hear my PC go woo. There we go, it's cool. It's catching up with itself now. Quite a nice effect that, but oh, there we go, Area 18. Okay, it's a shame it's in the dark. We've been a bit unlucky with the time of day, because it's night time here at Area 18. I'm actually also flying upside down, which is a bit weird. So let's wait till it drops the quantum drive. There we go. Okay, so this is the city now. What I've got to do is, it's another thing that doesn't hold your hand in here as when you first approach it, is where the hell do you go? It's not like it's obvious. I happen to know now that the bit that's in front of me, that sort of flat area in the midst of the city, is actually the spaceport. And the bitrate isn't holding my hand either. No, so I haven't got super fast internet, which is something that is coming for me in the new year. So with the RAM upgrade and a decent spec internet, I'll be able to up all my settings and start hopefully streaming at 1080p rather than the 720 that I'm getting at the moment. So there's lots of stuff that I need to do to improve things. The game does not hold your hand. Okay, so the first times I flew around, I was just flying through the skyscrapers here thinking, well, where am I? Well, where's my ship actually going up? What's happening there? It's supposed to be going forward. It's thrusting backwards. Why is it thrusting backwards? It's never done that before. That's odd. inverted something. My ship seems to be in reverse thrust for some reason. Yeah, it is. How did I get into it? Have I toggled something? Something has toggled me into reverse thrust. There is a reverse thrust key somewhere. Does anybody know what it is? Yeah, so I'm thrusting backwards. It shouldn't be in coupled mode, because no, I've been in coupled mode all the time. Yeah, so if I put the input forward, the thruster's coming on, but it's reversing me. Something I've hit something. I've got a HOTAS, so I've got a throttle, but I appear to have knocked something. There we go. It was that key. Okay, I've got a key on my HOTAS. There we go. I've got a key on my HOTAS, which obviously I didn't even know it could do that. There we go. I have hit hotkey. There's a button on my HOTAS I touched, which is actually mapped to the flaps on Microsoft Flight Simulator. So I think a bit of muscle memory just took over there. So yeah, so no, we're good. Okay, now flying forward. No, so yeah, so I've got reverse thrust if I want to, which is quite nice. Again, didn't even know that. So there's another thing I've just discovered. Right, so this is the spaceport here. Restricted area ahead, so obviously I've got to behave myself. Oh, I haven't even got to landing bay yet. Sometimes the ATC comms goes a bit wacky. And then you can see like a highway there. So there we go. Please contact ATC to land. So I'm going to throttle back to 0 because I don't trust this ship. It can hover in space for a bit. Right, so comlink area 18 landing services. Okay, so the ATC comms gets a bit out of sync sometimes. Oh, no, it's now saying the right thing. Where's the HUD indicator? There it is. Looks like it's on the other side, I'm guessing, of this. Again, it's not always all that easy to see where you've got to go to. So the external view is your friend a lot of the time. There we go. I think it's going to be down there somewhere. Where is it? Oh no, it's over there. So, is it a hangar or is it? I'm not sure where I've been asked to park. So imagine doing this with a 747 or something. Where are we going again? Right, let's just take another look. So sometimes just finding your way to the hangar is quite tricky. There it is. Look, it's actually a hangar this time. Hangar 1, not landing pads. Okay, so let's be careful. Right, let's get the undercarriage going. This time I'm going to go straight in. There we go. So yeah, there is a learning curve. There is a learning curve here, but it's a really fun learning curve. You suddenly think, oh, right, okay, so I've just got to think a bit harder as to how I do stuff. And you've got such finesse over the controls that you can, alter the thrust settings and all this sort of kind of stuff. It's very, very, if you like simmy stuff, it's very, very cool. I really, really like that. Boom, down again. So as a sim player, that works really well. We can switch the engines off here. Let's just power it down from the HUD. Power off. And then it's just as a finale to this stream, let's just give you a tour of the city, because we've seen a few different environments on this stream, but this place is just another level. It really is. So again, Armstrong moment, but now we're on in a city again. Lock the ship up. That's important to do. I mean, just never gets old. That's so cool. Right, so where do we go? Is that a loading? Is that the disembarkation? Sometimes it's not even obvious where you get off. Oh, there it is, over there. Okay. Even the hangars are kind of like, there's so much detail about. Really, really nice detail. Okay, back in the lift. Okay, now one of the things that staggered me about this place is the sheer scale. Okay, you do have to wait sometimes for the lift to arrive, which I suppose is realistic. Occasionally you see the lift arrive through you. There's little bugs like that show you that it's still work in progress. And Riker Memorial Spaceport is actually apparently it's not named after Mr. Riker from Star Trek, Captain William Riker, or no, First Officer Riker, isn't it? But a Kickstarter backer, I believe somebody was saying. So here again, this is the arrival lounge of Area 81, and what you can see up here is there's stuff to come. That there's departure things for ships that you can't get on right now, but all sorts of clever stuff like that. Over here you can go and have a look at the city. Across the landing pads, it's and then again you can just, if you don't fancy going anywhere for a moment, I'm just gonna chill for a moment. And if you put yourself into a player group, you can basically say, "Oh, we'll meet up at the seats in the corner of Area 81 in the plaza." Do you know what I mean? And here I am. I'm just sitting. Okay, there we go. I'm just chilling. It's just so good. Those social aspects, you underestimate how good that is at your peril. I think it's just so nice to be able to interact with the environment. Right, so this is again the customs area here. So we're going to head for the transit platform. Again, lots and lots of detail here. Not much going on in the customs area right now, but I think that's stuff that may follow, particularly if you're trying to do dodgy smuggling. I should store the ship when I land. Okay, I should do that. How do I store the ship, by the way? I don't know how to do that. Because it sort of auto stores it for me. Oh, I've just missed the train. Can you believe it? Chad Lewson, yeah. So go back to the terminals. Okay, so it's kind of done it for me now. I'll do that next time because I don't want to miss the next train. Now, if you go over here, look, you can see this kind of like, that's where we're going to go. There's the city over there, and we're going to go down that ramp with all those cars and things that are going up and down on a train. I can do it at the terminal. Okay, so I should put it away. That's a good thing. Just that will satisfy my OCD. Here comes the train. We get on the train. Again, I can sit on the train if I wish, but I'm going to stand at the front here because I know where this goes. So, in a moment, the doors will close, and we'll be off. There we go. Here we go. And it's I just think that's astonishing. Now check this out. This is basically Blade Runner, as far as I'm concerned. And again, not a particularly high spec PC, and I am streaming, and I'm talking to you, and I'm recording this. Actually, I will record this to disk at some point. But it works. Okay, all this business about you need a totally and utterly state-of-the-art machine to run this game is just not true. Okay, just isn't true. Just check that out. It just looks utterly fantastic. There's holograms flying around and stuff, and you end up in this sort of downtown location here. Arccorp says it's a tram. This is operates on the public road. Okay, yeah. So fair enough. Stand corrected. Just look at that. It's just insane. It really is just insane. And you kind of go around this corner. Look, I mean, that is straight out of Blade Runner. That is hologram of some lady. I don't know what she's advertising. But anyway, we're here anyway, so let's get off. There we go. And we're here at area 18. Now the plaza here is an amazing thing. As we walk up these stairs here, and you know, there's departure boards for things and stuff going on. Walking through here, and then this is just like a sort of futuristic, you know, mall. You know, there's stuff to do. There's places around the side here I can go and get some food if I wish. Yeah, there's the G-Lock bar there. I mean, there's a bar. It's fantastic. At least there's a bar at last. And it's you know, you could just imagine Harrison Ford rocking up next to you and telling you stuff. What I particularly like is this is just off the main drag. Okay, now if you go around, there are dodgy little side roads. Okay, so you look down there and think, I don't fancy going down there, right? Because someone's going to jump out at me. Okay, and you can get drinks at the bar. This is what's so insane about this. Let's go to the bar. I'll meet you in the bar at area 18. I mean, you can say that and it actually means something. You know, so I don't know. How do I get a drink at the bar? Where actually is the bar? Is he the bartender? Can I actually buy a drink here? I don't know. I don't know how to do it. Oh, it's inside through the doors. Right. Okay. Do they open? Oh yeah, they do. Oh, okay. So a bar. Look at that. Okay, so there is actually a bar. Is there a bartender about? I haven't even been here. Did somebody say something? So you can hang around at the bar. It doesn't look like there's a bartender in residence right now. So I don't know where he is. But okay, and there's people doing some slightly odd things like standing on things. I think the bartenders are, so you know, there are bugs. Bartender's currently on a break, but there's a space bar. I mean, I'll meet you in the bar. Look out for the guy with the hat. You know, how cool is that? It's insanely good. There we go. And we're back out. And yeah, if you go down these dodgy back alleys, okay, let's just quickly go down here. You know, it quickly becomes dodgy, right? There's rubbish left in the corner, and you know, there's a janky place to meet people who kind of want to conduct some shady business and things like this. You know, it's very, very, very atmospheric. Absolutely love that effect. And if you stick to the main thing, there's all sorts of stuff around. You know, you can buy hot dogs and you can buy other bits and pieces, and you know, other places are closed down, maybe for opening in other places. And there are some mission givers about. Yeah, I don't know where you go. Look, there you just see. If you go over here, you know, if you're a train spotter, you can watch the you can watch the tram come and go. Because it goes past here on its way. There's the train over there. You know, it's a real environment, which is very cool. Have I been at Grim Hex? Yes, Grim Hex was just amazing. That's really Grim Hex, for those of you who don't know, is like a it's like a really rundown space station, basically, yeah, you walk towards the medical bay there, and there's like bloodstains on the floor. Whoops! I think I've just fallen down the stairs. Oh, I think I just killed myself. What happened there? Did I get killed? I don't know what happened. I wasn't paying attention. Time until rescue. What's happened? Did I fall down the stairs? Oh, that was a physics bug. Okay, so not quite sure what happened. I died. I think I got mugged. So occasionally stuff goes wrong. Okay, occasionally stuff goes wrong. So you have to bear that in mind. Some random deaths. You're incapacitated. Okay, that was that. Need someone to revive it. So yeah, so there we go. Okay, some stuff's happening. Anyway, that's probably a good point to end the stream. That seems to be a natural break. The most common random death, but there it is, the dreaded stairs. Running on the stairs is not advised. Right, okay, I'll bear that in mind. So in summary then, my first impressions, I mean, I'm absolutely staggered. Okay, I am absolutely staggered by what this game already can do. I'm staggered by the ambition that's on display. I mean, if you can multiply what I've seen here up by several dozen star systems and the ability to jump between them and do all the multi-crew stuff and then go up onto bigger ships and have more and more complicated missions based on the mechanics that I've already seen. I mean, this is next level stuff. It's so far above anything else that I've played. M for Rescue Beacon. Maybe I'm already dead. I think I've passed out. Everything's faded to black. You can see the potential here. What's on display here is an amazing ambition. Okay, and that to me is very, very laudable. So, first impressions, it's definitely got bugs. Okay, it does, but it does work. It does work on PCs that are not state of the art, so you don't need to be crazy. Use the free fly events to check out whether or not it actually works on your PC or not, because it's, your mileage may vary. I think I've been a bit more fortunate than some. Ship interiors. I mean, anybody who plays this, who is a fan of space games, would not be able to go back to anything else easily, I don't think. It's just I think about this game at the moment when I'm in my kind of quiet moments, thinking, I wonder if I could do that. I wonder if I could go there. It's got that sort of, I must go back and just try another thing. It's got that draw. It's got that, desire to go and play it to find out whether or not you can do a thing. That whole spaceship interiors thing, ship interiors, is. It's just brilliant. It is just absolutely fantastic. So I couldn't go back to playing a game without that, really, with this kind of thing in mind. I do like No Man's Sky for its exploration content and its quests and things. But in terms of feeling like I'm in a living, breathing environment with a spaceship and I'm a badass spaceship commander, this has got it absolutely nailed. Okay, absolutely nailed. It's just like being in Firefly. It's just like being in Star Wars, and the guns and the multi-crew and the firing at pirates and taking missions and just trying to make your way in the verse. Okay, this has totally nailed it. The atmosphere is amazing. There are lots more ship interiors to look at. I've only literally looked at one, so that's my little ship. Some of the ships are much bigger. They need multi-crew. The multi-crew works. The multi-crew has things for everybody else to do. That's a big deal as well. All of that sort of stuff is very, very impressive, and as a result, it adds up to a very, very, very compelling thing. Is it bug free? No, it's not. I mean, I just died by walking up the stairs. So there are issues, and you need to go into it with your eyes open, I think, in terms of those issues. But if you want a space flight experience where everything's connected up, and you can do meaningful stuff, or just not do meaningful stuff and just hang around and ferry boxes from one place to the other in a way that works. I'm struggling to put into words what the fundamental difference here is between this and other games. It's believability, okay? It's suspension of disbelief. In this game, because of the transitions between the ship and the ground and the space stations and the planets, because there is no transition, you just step off your ship. There is no beam down. There is no, there is no teleport to the surface. There is no just jump out of your ship by pressing a button. Because you do the transitions yourself and you move through the transitions in a realistic way, just adds so much to the experience of playing the game. It's fabulous. It really is fabulous. So I am going to be watching this very, very closely. I'm very excited by what this has already been able to do, and where it's going. So, more power to Robert Space Industries. I know it's been controversial. I know it's been 9 years, but they've got so much in the way of foundations in place now, and then you can see everything kind of building up around that and getting on further for that. So it's going to be amazing to watch. So do I like it then? Yes, I do. I am hugely impressed. TLDR. Yes, it's awesome. Very, 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 very impressed indeed. To the point I just want to keep playing it. I've got to do some real life stuff there, unfortunately now. But how long does it take to get used to the basic? Very quick, I thought. Now I'm a simmer. Okay, so I'm a flight sim person. I like those sort of things. So to me, quickly remembering keybinds for various different things is fairly intuitive. But I don't think it's all that complicated. If you map a HOTAS, flying the ship is like any other flying a kind of spaceship, really. Roll, bank, pitch, yaw, etc. There's a few keybinds to work out. There's a few things you need to do in the right order, like ATC, traffic control, those sort of things. But moving around the ground is WASD, so it's all fairly straightforward stuff. It doesn't take you long. And what's nice is you can incrementally learn bits of it. So I was proficient in moving around the universe within an hour. Quite easily, and I think people who are more familiar with these sort of games will probably be even faster than that. I've had to jump out to Reddit and Google a few times to go, what the hell is this, or how the hell do I do that? And then it's like, okay, that kind of makes sense. So there's a bit of that to start with, but in general terms, no, it's not too difficult to learn at all. So I'm pretty good, and the community has been very, very helpful. Lots of really, really good tips, both on optimizing the game just to run, and also playing it and places to go and things to do and how to interact and all that sort of stuff. So there are quite a few controls, but you don't need all of them straight away. So you can just work your way through it and learn the bits that you want. And once you've got a certain amount of knowledge, you can do what you need to do, and then you think, okay, if I want to do that as well, what else do I need to learn? So you can kind of incrementally improve it. So it's really, really good. So there we go. That is my summary. I am very, very, very impressed. First impressions, fabulous, absolutely fabulous. It works. So don't, if there's people out there basically say, no, it won't work. You need a uber spec PC. That's rubbish. You don't need an uber spec PC to run this. It works okay on my mid-range computer. Plus, I'm able to stream it at the same time. You don't need a HOTAS, but I'd recommend one because it's just easier to fly than using the mouse. Depends how you like to play your games, though. It's not too complicated to learn. Lots of cool stuff to do. You can jump in at the entry-level ships without any kind of problem. But it's in the Premier League of suspension of disbelief in terms of flying around the universe, being a spaceship commander. Absolutely brilliant. So there we go. My first impressions, having played it for a few weeks now. It really is a thing. It's very, very impressive. So I hope that kind of helps. That's my summary. So, and huge thanks to the kind of the wider Star System community for a warm welcome and a bit of troubleshooting and help throughout. So that's been really encouraging to see that the community is out there, keeping an eye out for new players, basically giving them a hand up and basically saying, you want to do this, be careful of doing that, don't do that, etc, etc, etc. That's been quite useful. So do engage with the community because they will be able to help you out. Really, really cool thing. So anyway, my friends, thank you very much for accompanying me on my death. We will there'll be more Star System streaming from me in the new year. So thank you very much for everybody who's been watching. Have yourself a fantastic Christmas, Star System fans, and I'll see you in the new year. And citizens, that's right, citizens, that's what you are. And see you out there in the verse. Be good. Take care, my friends, and see you soon.